Behold, the Royal Rumble wall. Endless possibilities, a myriad of combinations, 30 chances at the grandest stage of them all. Now, it's pretty simple. You and I are going to go through all 30 slots, putting superstars in where we think they're going to enter the Rumble. Eventually, we're going to get to the final four. And then we're going to make our final Bosco-mania Royal Rumble winner prediction. That is a mouthful. And if history is any indicator, we're probably going to be wrong, but we're going to have a good time anyways. And just for fun, we're going to do some superlatives at the end. So stick around until the end, huh? Grab a beer or a fruit juice. I don't know how old you are. Now, everyone's talking about how this Rumble is stacked and nobody knows who's going to win it. But to me, I don't know. It seems pretty obvious. It's R-Truth. His time is now. Isn't that what he says? 5 knuckle shuffle, never say never. Those are all his original sayings. Now you'll notice I've highlighted 4 spots in green. Those are what we're going to call the money spots. The spots historically that have the most Royal Rumble winners. So we're going to treat those a little bit differently than we do the others. And I've already dwindled this list of participants down to who I personally feel like are realistic candidates to actually be in the Royal Rumble. So if you don't see your favorite guy on here, just tell me how stupid I am in the comments and then get on with your day. But first, entrants 1 and 2. There's got to be a logical number 1 and number 2. Something that teases a WrestleMania match or a WrestleMania moment, just like they did with Jimmy and Jey Uso last year and Gunther and Sheamus the year prior, which set up the triple threat match at WrestleMania 39. So I think there is going to be some storytelling between entrants 1 and 2 here. And even though they did it last year, as much as I hate it, I think they got to start with 2 Bloodline dudes, and you got to start early just to get them out of the way. So I'm going to say we have Solo Sikoa coming in at number 1, build up some heat early in his entrance. And then I think at number 2, even though he came out at number 1 last year, we have Jey Uso. It seems clear that Solo and Roman are done with their feud after the way Tribal Combat shaked out on the Netflix debut. So I think Roman's kind of out of this. I don't think he's going to be involved in the Bloodline at all in this Rumble. So doing Solo versus Jey as 1 and 2 opens up that door for however they want to treat the Bloodline at WrestleMania with the non-Roman Reigns member. All right, Bloodline is out of the way. Third, I think we have LA Knight. Someone that can come in who has no loyalties to either Bloodline. LA Knight comes in with his Ufalafo, fully capable of taking either guy out, and then he sets the tone to just get on with the rest of the Rumble and move past this Bloodline story at 1 and 2. And then spots 4 to 10, honestly, these are just spots where you can really slot in anybody and the order does not matter too much. You're just trying to build up bodies in the ring so that someone can come in and eliminate a bunch, or you just start getting eliminations out of the way. I'm just going to say we get Carmelo Hayes in at number 4. Very different style to the 3 guys already in the ring, which I think will be necessary. And he can just kind of play well with any of like the next 10 entrants that come in, regardless of their ring style. At number 5, let's throw in, let's say Ludwig Kaiser. At this point, we just need bodies. Like, look at the names on the right side of this. Like, it is seriously stacked. So we've got 5 guys in the ring. As much as I hate to say it, I do think we get Logan Paul in the Rumble. He's been at the last 2 Royal Rumble PLEs, so I think he has to make an appearance, especially because he didn't really do anything on the Netflix debut. And I actually think he's going to have a moment with another surprise entrant that comes in the next 2 or 3 spots. So bear with me on Logan Paul. Next, I do think we get a Judgment Day member in the first 10. It's either Finn or Dominic. I don't think Carlito actually gets in the Rumble. Let's throw Dominic in just because I think he'll be in the Rumble for a little while, but it could be Finn too. I don't know. Wherever Finn goes and wherever Dominic goes, you could probably interchange them. But let's throw Dominic in. And then at 8, there is always at least one NXT guy. We have Carmelo Hayes in the ring, so you can kind of see where I'm going with this one. But I think at 8, we get Trick Williams. Him and Carmelo have a little face-off in the ring. This is Trick Williams' kind of moment to get called up to the main roster. And it's also, I think, just a good time to get like a pulse check from the audience on if there's a Carmelo and Trick face-off in the ring. Like, do people know these guys had a history in NXT? And can people get behind this rivalry if, I don't know, we call up Trick now and we have Carmelo versus Trick at WrestleMania, or we start building that feud? You can get both of them out pretty early and start clearing up the ring, but give them their moment. Maybe even have Trick eliminate Carmelo and give him a Royal Rumble moment that he can build momentum off of. And then at 9, the Rumble's being held in Indianapolis. I grew up in Indianapolis. Pat McAfee is loved in Indianapolis. He loves the city loves him. I think he's going to give us more of a moment than just coming out and commentating the Rumble. The crowd will absolutely go nuts for Pat McAfee, and I think the WWE might chase some social media numbers with this. We got Logan Paul in the ring. Everybody knows Logan Paul's big on the internet, or whatever you want to say. Pat McAfee obviously has a big social media following, so I think we have a moment between Pat McAfee and Logan Paul. Pat's not going to be in the ring a long time, so I think Logan eliminates Pat. You know, you build up some more heat for Logan Paul, and then imagine the mouths watering in the WWE executive meetings of Logan Paul and Pat McAfee, and what kind of numbers that could generate on social media. Like, they tout this every week. At number 10, I think we get Rey Mysterio. Things have been kind of quiet for him lately. He's officially in the Royal Rumble, and I do think we're going to kind of use this to set up whatever Rey gets for WrestleMania, and I don't think it's going to be LWO related. Stay posted for how I think Rey Mysterio gets used in the Rumble. At 11, probably about time for another little micro story. We have LA Knight in the ring. Why don't we throw in Shinsuke Nakamura? And now we can have LA Knight and Shinsuke have their own little moment. Maybe one of them gets eliminated and continues their feud. I don't know. Maybe Shinsuke uses some dirty tactics and busts out the poison mist to blind LA Knight and get him out. Uses something dirty so LA Knight doesn't look weak in the ring. And then you can get LA Knight out of there. Now, if you've been counting, it's been about 10 spots since our last Bloodline entrant. I don't know how many we have in total here. I think it's like 6 or 7. And we also have a decent amount of people in the ring now. A lot of candidates for someone to just come in and clean shop and get a bunch of people out of the ring. Jacob Fatu is going to come into this Rumble. I'm going to say it's at number 12 or somewhere at some point where there's a good amount of people in the ring and Jacob Fatu can come in and just wreck shop. Like, I think this is going to be his coming out party. The storyline seems a little weird between him and Solo, but I think at this point he's still going to be loyal to Solo, and he's going to kind of play the role of Solo's protector in the ring, making sure Solo doesn't get eliminated. So Fatu comes in, cleans up, he proves he really is that guy, turns his focus to really just attacking Jey Uso in the corner, and we need a savior at this point. Now, I know what you're thinking, but I'm not talking Jimmy Uso, because I think we need someone we can believe in. It's me. I'm the savior. Teensy promo break, I promise. I'm still a new channel, but hopefully, as you can tell, I like to have a good time. Wrestling should not be that serious. I try to get creative. I make all my own graphics. I genuinely actually care about the 10 minutes that you're watching my video, that you're having a good time, because I'm having a great time making them. So it would mean a lot to me. If you don't subscribe, at least keep an eye out for any video that you see on your feed of mine, and just give it a glance and see if you like this one. Maybe you'll like the next one. That's all I ask. Okay, I'm going to go beat Jacob Fatu's ass now. Obviously, you don't believe I'm entering the Rumble. Although, you know, put me in at 30, you never know what might happen. Maybe you don't believe in me, but you do believe in Joe Hendry. He's the TNA guy coming in, so they can't bury him as soon as he gets in the ring. I think he comes in and has a pretty good showing, has some back and forth with Fatu, and we think Joe Hendry might actually be the outsider that comes in and saves Jey Uso and eliminates Jacob Fatu. But then I think someone comes in, maybe Solo, kills the Joe Hendry momentum, and we can then move on with the next participant in the Rumble. I don't think Joe Hendry gets eliminated at this point. He's probably going to have a little bit of time in the Rumble to get some TNA spotlight, but he will have a fun moment, and I think this is a good way to do it. I do think we get a Jimmy and Jey Uso tag team throwback moment at some point in this Rumble. I just don't know when it will happen. You know what? We have to have the OG Bloodline as a heel team in the ring at the same time, I think. So at 14, I'm going to put Tama Tonga at 14. And at this point, these 3 OG Bloodline guys might just pummel Jey Uso in the ring for 10 minutes and forget all about the Rumble that's happening. Jey Uso really needs a savior at this point, but I don't think he gets it yet. So at 15, let's pull in Finn Balor. So we've got 2 Judgment Day guys in the ring right now to set up their moment later. And we still have the OG Bloodline beating down on Jey. You just get another body in the ring. And then at 16, again, this whole time, Jey Uso's getting pummeled. Just punch, backflip, Samoan spike. And then the real savior, the man with the fully healed toe, Jimmy Uso sprints to the ring, ducks a Fatu clothesline, super kick, ducks a Samoan spike, super kick, lifts up Jey, crowd's going wild. Tama Tonga comes in, double super kick to Tama Tonga. Maybe they eliminate him at that point just to get the Bloodline out of there. We don't care about Tama Tonga. 1D to Solo or Fatu, crowd's going nuts. And we have our Usos tag team throwback moment. Maybe they eliminate Solo or Fatu as well. I don't really know how they're going to handle this exactly, but I do think this sets up the ongoing feud on the way to WrestleMania. Now let the non-Roman bloodline guys extend this thing and squeeze as much juice out of this story as they can. And now we've gotten through the bloodline moments. There is oozy energy oozing out of the stadium at this point, and someone has to come in and break that up. And who better than the man who's already killing the Uso momentum, Drew McIntyre. He might eliminate both of the Usos, who knows, but I think he's going to get at least one. There's still this whole Drew versus Bloodline angle that they can play with a little bit in this Rumble while using him to move on from the Bloodline and again focus on the actual Royal Rumble. And now we've had a peak moment with the Bloodline. We've got Drew McIntyre coming in and wrapping that up. So I think we just need another bit of a filler in here. And I think we get someone from the New Day. Honestly, I think it could be either Kofi or Xavier. I don't think the order matters here, but I'm going to say Kofi first, just because he might come in and have a traditional Kofi moment. I don't know if he's too old for this now, which is why I'm kind of saying Carmelo might have that instead. But let's say Kofi comes in at 18. Rey Mysterio is still in the ring, and now you start building up a little bit more of a micro story. Maybe him and Kofi have a little face-off or something, since we know there's beef between them right now. And then at 19, you know what? I think I'm going to throw in both New Day members coming in at the same time. And let me tell you why. We need the New Day to generate as much heat as possible, even more heat than they already have. And I think by breaking up their entrances, you break up the heat a little bit, but why not bundle them in as a back-to-back entrant? Kofi's beating up on Rey, so he's already getting heat in the ring. You layer on more heat by Xavier Woods coming out, and then they tag team against Rey Mysterio. The New Day is going to have a WrestleMania match with how much heat they have, and they got to figure out what tag team match they're going to have. So I think Rey Mysterio is going to be involved. New Day comes in, starts attacking him, and now we need another savior. Who better than our newest luchador in the WWE? Number 20, I'm going to say we have Penta coming in. To me, it's a perfect way to keep all of the Penta momentum going. The Pentamentum. I might edit that out. I just came up with that on the spot. I don't think I like that one. Give him a PLE moment, and now you set up Penta and Rey tag teaming against Kofi and Xavier. You get Penta in a storyline very shortly after his debut. I honestly don't know what else Rey has for WrestleMania. Like, I don't think the LWO has momentum, and I think he probably just needs to go a different direction. All right, at 21, we need someone else to come in and kind of clean up shop a little bit. So I'm going to say at 21, we get Bron Breakker, Intercontinental Champ. He's got to be in the Rumble, and we need a bit of a lull in between the Penta Rey Mysterio high. So I think Bron Breakker comes in, gets a few eliminations here and there, and then cleans up the ring for all the heavy hitters that are going to come in the last part of the Rumble, and also for the next guy that I think is going to come in, Damian Priest at 22. We have Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor both in the ring. Judgment Day's life, I think, is kind of coming to an end a little bit storyline-wise. They're losing some momentum. I think we maybe have a moment where Dominic gets eliminated because of Finn's antics or vice versa, and we probably have Damian Priest getting rid of the both of them, and that, you know, that sets up like causing a rift in the Judgment Day that they can kind of play with. And Damian Priest just needs to get away from it. If he eliminates them both, causes some internal conflict in the Judgment Day, then they can go and do their own thing for whatever they want to do at WrestleMania. But at 23, let's get a big name, one of the favorites to win the Rumble. 23, we get Seth Rollins. Finn and Dominic are out. Bron Breakker's done his thing. Seth comes in and maybe takes a few guys out. And then I think at 24, we got to do something with Bron. And I think we get Sheamus in at 24 after Bron comes in and wrecks shop and looks strong. And then I think we have Bron and Sheamus get into a little scuffle, and one or both of them get eliminated. Sheamus seems to have his eyes set on the Intercontinental title. Let's give them their moment, and then we can shift our focus to the last six. Bro, these last six are gonna be wild. Okay, let's get into it. At 25, we get Roman Reigns. At this point, Bloodline storyline's done. Maybe Jacob Fatu is like the one last remaining Bloodline member in the ring after that entire mid-Rumble scuffle that happens. And maybe we have a Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu moment just to continue to elevate Fatu. A little bit of back and forth, and then Roman eliminates Fatu. You get Fatu out of the ring after an incredible showing in the Rumble, and then Roman again closes out Bloodline and can focus on winning the Rumble. I think that's actually pretty genius. Someone call Triple H. I need to get him on the phone right now. One other thing I'm thinking of that could happen with Roman. Again, you get some flexibility by him coming later here. Roman Reigns needs to find other storylines in the WWE that aren't just Tribal Chief and Bloodline related. Why not have a Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins stare down in the middle of the ring, tease that matchup, play into all of the history they have, but right before they're about to get into it, you build up all that tension. At 26, the static hits. CM Punk and Seth puts his beef with Roman aside to deal with the matter at hand, which is CM Punk. And Roman lets it happen. He's like, if I don't have to waste my energy on Rollins or Punk, I'll let them duke it out and deal with whatever's left over from that. I think Punk has to come late. They're probably concerned about him getting re-injured and don't want to risk it this close to Mania. If I was him, I would be thinking the same thing. It's fine to throw him in late. I do think Punk is the one that eliminates Seth Rollins at some point in the next 4 entrants and opens the door to allow that feud to continue. I'd be fine seeing another CM Punk and Seth Rollins match. Make that a series just like they did with Drew McIntyre. If that's CM Punk's equity in the WWE right now is blood feuds and he's not winning championships, that's totally fine. He is one of the few guys who can make an enticing storyline that doesn't have a championship at the root of it all. At 27, I'm going to put Sami Zayn. He's got to be in this Rumble. Obviously, you can slot him into the Bloodline storyline and he might come out when everyone else comes out earlier in the Rumble and you just slot him in there. But I think in a match like the Royal Rumble, you can use Sami Zayn a little bit differently. I don't know that he adds a lot of value in just being slotted into the Bloodline. The good thing about him is that he has a lot of history with other guys in the Rumble, and I think he's better served advancing some of those storylines or being used as kind of like the pawn. And Drew McIntyre's still in the match. Drew can be Sami's target and Sami can be Drew's target, and you don't need to have Sami involved in the Bloodline storyline at all because Drew's kind of tangentially related to it already. Sami's coming in to avenge the Bloodline because Drew eliminated the Usos. And then I also think there's a surprise coming in this Rumble that Sami Zayn is going to be a big part of. The next 3 entrants, I think you could honestly interchange them in any order, and the last 3 would still slap. So at 28, I actually saw someone pitch this idea in a Reddit thread, so I can't take full credit for it. It's a little bit far-fetched. But when I say that I think Sami Zayn is going to get involved in other storylines, it's related to who I think is coming in at number 28. And it's a surprise entrant, Kevin Owens. Obviously, he's got a ladder match for the WWE Championship with Cody Rhodes, but this dude is a psychopath. Whatever happens in the ladder match, he could get roughed up and leave on a stretcher, and I wouldn't be surprised if this dude comes back and makes his way into the Rumble. Maybe even attacks someone on their way to the ring, and then he takes their place in the Rumble. And then we immediately have Sami and KO go at it in the ring, obviously, with all of their history. And then at 29, I hear voices in my head. Randy Orton makes his return. Camera pans to Kevin Owens. Shock face, he's in for it now. He's already roughed up from the ladder match, and now he's about to take an RKO and a punt kick and who knows what else, a haluva kick, a go to sleep, a spear, a curb stomp. He's just going to take it all. And I do think Randy comes back and eliminates Kevin Owens, and now KO's moved on from Cody. Randy Orton comes back, and now you have your Randy Orton versus KO feud. And then at 30, you can guess it. There's no reason to surprise anyone at this point. We know who it is. We don't need to hide it. Countdown for this man coming out into the Royal Rumble as the last entrant will be so goddamn epic. I cannot wait to see it live. Crowd screaming, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's nobody because we can't see him. I hate that joke. John Cena runs to the ring. Maybe he does like a throwback to, like, as you can see, I'm wearing the Hustle, Loyalty, Respect shirt for a reason. I put it on before I recorded the video, specifically for this moment in this video. Maybe he comes out like 2008 John Cena after the return. A little bit of that. Runs to the ring. Hopefully doesn't tear an ACL on his way there because he's got 52 weeks of WWE wrestling that he's got to prepare for this year. So maybe it's a light jog, maybe a speed walk. I know, but once he gets in there, 5 moves of doom immediately to someone that he eliminates, maybe gets a couple more eliminations. Crowd is going absolutely wild. He cleans up shop and gets us to a point where we have some pretty heavy hitters in the ring, and that's all that's left. We need to have a peak Cena moment, and I think it's got to happen at 30. He's not going to be entrant number 1. And I think if you put John Cena last, it's very believable that if he comes in last, historically, it's a very advantageous spot to come in at the Rumble to win it all. People might believe John Cena could actually come out and win this thing in main event WrestleMania. And then I think when he's got a couple of eliminations, you can see who else we've got in the ring. CM Punk and Randy Orton. Things slow down and we have a stare down between either John and CM Punk or John and Randy Orton. The nostalgia that will be running through my body. I might be crying at this point. Just if this happens, man, like the crowd will be going absolutely nuts. I will not have a voice by the end of the night. A perfect hit of nostalgia. Criticism is always, oh, there weren't enough legends returning. There weren't enough surprise returns. No. You do not need legends returning when you have legends in the ring already. Okay, so we have our 30. That was exhausting. I am sweating. I'm literally sweating. I'm screaming alone in a room right now about pictures of men with their shirts off on a graphic, but I'm having a great time. And we haven't even picked the final 4 yet. And look at the names that aren't even participating in the Rumble. This was incredibly hard. Theory and Waller. I just think everyone else here has bigger reasons to be in the Rumble, more meaningful reasons to be in the Rumble. Braun Strowman, I wouldn't mind if we don't get the stereotypical everyone gang up on the big guy to get him out of the Rumble. We don't need that this year. Man, Chad Gable's the one guy should be in, but maybe one of these surprise entrants, you could fit Chad Gable in there and he would fit in just fine. R-Truth, a lot of people are saying he's going to show up for the comedy bit that they always do with R-Truth. We already have that if Pat McAfee makes his surprise returns. Maybe if Pat doesn't show up, like, yeah, we need a comedy bit, so R-Truth might be in the Rumble. And it would be kind of funny to see him do John Cena's 5 moves of doom before John Cena comes in and does the 5 moves of doom. Actually, I kind of like that idea if Pat McAfee doesn't show up. And then the surprise returns. Like, we have The Rock. I don't think he's coming back for Mania this year. If he does come back, I don't think it's planned yet. Like, he might out of nowhere come back and say my schedule's freed up, but I don't think they're planning for that yet. An Aleister Black return feels like it would be more meaningful outside of the Rumble. This Rumble is so strong already. You can bring him back at like the Raw after Mania and create a moment there versus having him come in as entrant number 17 in the Rumble. And then everyone else, honestly, I feel okay about them not being in. If there's anyone else you think should be in, let me know in the comments. Now, the Royal Rumble Final 4 wall. I need to come up with a better name for that, but we're sticking with the Royal Rumble Final 4 wall. So the easy pick to me is we have John Cena in the Final 4. Like, there's no way John Cena isn't in the Final 4. And then the other guy that's easy to me to pick is Roman Reigns. Now, everyone else, it is tough to pick these two, but let's dwindle it down. I think we have Randy, Seth, Punk, Drew McIntyre probably as the leading 4, maybe like Sami Zayn or Damian Priest. Punk is going to eliminate Seth, so let's throw Seth out of that. I don't think Sami makes it. I don't think we have Randy, CM Punk, and John Cena all in the Final 4. That's like too much old nostalgia. So because Randy and Kevin Owens are going to have a thing, I think what's going to happen is John Cena is actually going to eliminate Randy Orton. Again, another hint of nostalgia, a show of respect between the two because of all the history, and Randy's out of the Rumble. So then, to me, it is Punk and Drew McIntyre as the other two in the Final 4. This Rumble is going to be so good, dude. Like, the 30 entrants are great, plus the Final 4. Making this video right now, I'm like getting hyped, and it's happening in 2 weeks. What I think is going to happen with these Final 4. As much as people want him to win, I don't think John Cena gets a Royal Rumble victory. And I think he actually gets eliminated by Drew so that Drew can build more heel heat. Like, if he can own being the guy that eliminated Cena in the Rumble and crushed every fan in that arena and watching at home's hopes and dreams for Cena, that's a great thing to play with for the rest of Drew's storylines. And then I think Punk gets Drew out as well. Like, why not lay on CM Punk dominating Drew McIntyre one last time? And then, as the final 2, you get CM Punk and Roman Reigns. They had their Survivor Series moments. It wasn't a feud, but they're both linked to Paul Heyman. I think they're a good final 2 to have, and either of them are believable to actually win the Royal Rumble. And then, the winner of the 2025 Men's Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns. Now, everyone's going to hate this. You probably hate me right now. Yes, this means we get Roman versus Cody as the main event for the 3rd year in a row. But let me pitch why I think this is okay. Everyone else has a storyline that, except for Cena, that I think could take them into WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is kind of done with the Bloodline. Like, he had his match, tribal combat match, with Solo Sikoa at the Netflix debut. What else does he have to do there? He's proven that he is the rightful tribal chief. I don't think they're going to have him get involved in that again for WrestleMania. He's already told Cody he wants the belt, and that is the story for Roman Reigns, unless The Rock comes back and then you build up Roman versus Rock, but I don't think that's going to happen. But here's the one thing that might be different about this year's matchup. Now, I would watch this match a third time and be happy, but I do think there's a door open for a third variable in the feud this time around. CM Punk still has a quote-unquote favor with Paul Heyman. I think the favor is that CM Punk gets a shot at the title whenever Roman Reigns wins it. Punk's not stupid, right? He knows Roman Reigns is good enough to win the title back eventually. It's inevitable. That favor could be cashed in to turn this Roman versus Cody main event into a triple threat match involving CM Punk. Maybe Roman asks CM Punk to prove he's worthy of it in some way. I have no idea. We still have an Elimination Chamber match. Who knows how that all will play out? Maybe Punk wins and gets in as the third entrant. Who knows? But I think if Roman wins, we're not just going to get Roman versus Cody again. There's going to be something different. Again, if it is Roman versus Cody, honestly, I would be fine seeing that again as long as the rest of the card is as good as it can be with this stacked of a roster. Those are my predictions. Tell me I'm stupid in the comments. But before we close out, we must give out our awards. For quickest exit, this one to me is easy, especially if he shows up. The hometown hero, Pat McAfee. I don't know that it's going to be Santino levels of 1.9 seconds for him to get out, but I do think he's going to have a quick spot, a quick moment for the crowd, and then he's going to get out of the ring. I think if he has a moment in the Rumble and then goes back to the commentary booth, that's actually pretty funny. If it's not Pat McAfee making an entrance, then it's going to be R-Truth. For the Iron Man, I think it's either going to be Jey Uso or Jacob Fatu. I'm going to say Jacob Fatu. Convinced myself this is going to be the showing out party for him. And then I actually don't have another Jacob Fatu, so let me do some quick graphic editing here. You're seeing it live, folks. Iron Man, Jacob Fatu, and I think most eliminations, Jacob Fatu. Buy your Jacob Fatu stock now. This is not financial advice, but if it was, I'd be telling you to invest in Jacob Fatu. Kind of weird seeing Pat McAfee and Jacob Fatu next to each other. There you have it. All of this will happen, I'm sure, exactly as I predicted it. Except for that one part where the countdown ends and then the crowd's chanting 3, 2, 1, and then the buzzer hits and then the guy comes out to his music and makes his way to the ring and then starts wrestling. Everything that I predicted will be correct except for the rare occurrence where that one specific thing happened. Like I said, I'll be at the Rumble live this year. I haven't been this excited for a PLE probably since WrestleMania of last year, mostly because John Cena is going to be there, and I'm going to be there live. That's probably a big swaying factor. But hey, if you enjoyed the video, keep an eye out for my next one. The predictions are just for fun, and like I said earlier, you should have fun when you watch wrestling. It's not that serious. So roast me in the comments regardless, and take care.